The story of Madeleine McCann is one of the most heartbreaking and baffling mysteries of our time. It's a case that has captivated the world, sparked endless debate, and left a family in a state of perpetual limbo. Tonight, we're going to revisit the events of that fateful evening and explore the theories that have emerged over the years. It was May 3rd, 2007. The McCann family, Gerry and Kate, along with their 3 young children, were on holiday in Praia da Luz, a resort town in the Algarve region of Portugal. That evening, Gerry and Kate went to dinner with friends at a tapas restaurant just a short walk from their ground-floor apartment, number 5A, at the Ocean Club Resort. Their children, 3-year-old Madeleine and her 2-year-old twin siblings, were left sleeping in the unlocked apartment. The group of friends, who would later be known as the Tapas 7, had a system. They took turns checking on their respective children throughout the evening. At around 9:05 p.m., Gerry McCann did a check and saw all 3 of his children sleeping soundly. Another friend from the group offered to check on the McCann children around 9:30 p.m., and while he didn't see Madeleine directly, he heard no noise and assumed everything was fine. The evening continued. The nightmare began at 10 p.m. Kate McCann went to check on her children. She entered the apartment and immediately noticed that the children's bedroom door, which they had left ajar, was now wide open. The window was also open, and the shutter was raised. And Madeleine was gone. Her favorite cuddle cat toy and a pink blanket were left on her bed, but the little girl in the pink and white pajamas had vanished. Panic erupted. A frantic search began immediately, with resort staff and guests combing the area, shouting Madeleine's name into the night. The local Portuguese police, the Guarda Nacional Republicana, were called, but the critical first few hours, often called the golden hours in a missing person case, were chaotic. The initial response was slow, and the border with Spain, just an hour's drive away, was not immediately sealed. The crime scene itself was not properly secured, meaning crucial forensic evidence may have been contaminated or lost forever as dozens of people walked through the apartment. The first major theory that the Portuguese police, the Policia Judiciaria, pursued was abduction. The open window and raised shutter seemed to be clear signs of a break-in. Who would take a child from her bed? Was it a planned kidnapping or an opportunistic crime? One of the McCann's friends, Jane Tanner, reported seeing a man carrying a child in pajamas away from the direction of the McCann's apartment at around 9:15 p.m. Her description led to the creation of a famous sketch, but the man was never definitively identified. Another family, the Smiths, also reported seeing a man carrying a child who looked uncomfortable or asleep around 10 p.m., closer to the beach. These sightings were compelling, but the timings and descriptions didn't perfectly align, creating more confusion than clarity. As the days turned into weeks, the investigation took a shocking and controversial turn. The Portuguese police, led by Chief Inspector Goncalo Amaral, began to shift their focus away from a stranger abduction and onto the parents themselves, Kate and Gerry McCann. The media frenzy was intense, and public opinion started to sway. The police questioned why the parents would leave their young children alone. They explored the possibility that Madeleine had died in an accident within the apartment and that her parents had hidden her body and staged an abduction to cover it up. This theory gained momentum with the introduction of 2 British sniffer dogs, Eddie and Keo. Eddie, a cadaver dog, was trained to detect the scent of human remains, while Keo was a blood detection dog. Both dogs allegedly alerted in several key places: inside the McCann's apartment, on Kate McCann's clothes, on Madeleine's cuddle cat toy, and in the trunk of a silver Renault Scenic that the McCanns had rented 25 days after Madeleine disappeared. The so-called dog evidence was explosive. It led to the Portuguese police officially naming Kate and Gerry McCann as arguidos, or formal suspects, in September 2007. However, the forensic evidence was far from conclusive. The DNA samples collected from the car were complex and minute. A British lab found that the samples were too complex for interpretation. And while they contained elements of Madeleine's DNA profile, it couldn't be confirmed as a match. The alerts from the dogs, while suggestive, were not considered definitive proof in a court of law without corroborating evidence. Many experts have argued that cadaver dogs can give false positives, and the scent could have come from Gerry's work as a doctor or from contaminated items. The McCanns vehemently denied any involvement in their daughter's disappearance. They launched a global campaign to find Madeleine, meeting with religious leaders, politicians, and celebrities to keep her story in the public eye. They maintained their innocence throughout, enduring unimaginable scrutiny and public condemnation. In July 2008, the Portuguese Attorney General archived the case, citing a lack of evidence. Kate and Gerry McCann's status as arguidos was lifted, and they were cleared of any suspicion. With the parents cleared, the focus shifted back to the abduction theory. Over the years, countless leads have been followed and numerous suspects have been investigated, but none have led to a breakthrough. The case file grew to tens of thousands of pages. Private investigators were hired by the McCanns, and Scotland Yard launched its own review, known as Operation Grange, in 2011. This new investigation brought fresh eyes and resources to the case, meticulously re-examining every piece of evidence. Then, in June 2020, there was a major development. German police announced they had identified a new prime suspect, a German national named Christian Bruckner. Bruckner was a convicted sex offender who was known to have lived in the Algarve region between 1995 and 2007. He was in the Praia da Luz area on the night Madeleine disappeared, and phone records placed a mobile phone registered to him near the Ocean Club resort around the time she vanished. The day after her disappearance, he re-registered a Jaguar car in Germany, a move seen as suspicious. Bruckner has a long and disturbing criminal history, but he has consistently denied any involvement in Madeleine's case. German prosecutors have stated they have evidence that Madeleine is no longer alive and believe Bruckner is responsible, but they have yet to file charges against him in connection with her disappearance due to a lack of definitive proof, such as finding her body. Searches of properties and land connected to Bruckner in Germany have been conducted, but they have not yielded the breakthrough everyone has been hoping for. So where does that leave us? The case of Madeleine McCann remains a painful, unsolved puzzle. We have two dominant, opposing narratives. The first is the story of a tragic abduction, a stranger who slipped into an apartment and stole a child, leaving a family to grapple with a lifetime of unanswered questions. This theory is supported by the initial evidence at the scene and the various witness sightings. The second narrative, largely fueled by the initial Portuguese investigation, points towards parental involvement and a cover-up. This theory, while compelling to some, relies on controversial and inconclusive forensic evidence and has been officially dismissed. The identification of Christian Bruckner has provided a concrete, plausible suspect for the first time in years, reigniting hope that the truth might finally be uncovered. Yet, until there is a confession, a conviction, or the discovery of Madeleine, the mystery endures. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann serves as a chilling reminder of a parent's worst nightmare. It highlights the challenges of international police cooperation, the power of media influence, and the agonizing pain of not knowing. For Kate and Gerry McCann, the search has never stopped. They continue to hold on to hope, marking every birthday and anniversary with a plea for information. The world watches, waits, and hopes with them that one day, they will finally have an answer to the question that has haunted them for so long. What happened to Madeleine? Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into compelling cases. We'll see you next time.